Hello, thank you for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguwele. Vice President Kashim Shettima has assured Nigerians and diaspora of robust engagement on the President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, aimed at positioning Nigeria in its rightful place in the Committee of Nations, urging them to keep believing in their home nation. The Vice President, who graced a meeting with cross-section of Nigerians in diaspora, highlighted that Nigeria is on the right path with the reforms undertaken within the renewed hope agenda. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Nigerians in the diaspora meeting the Vice President in New York on the sidelines of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly.
We need to come together, the private sector, the civil society, the government, the diaspora. Yes, indeed, we do have what it takes to make Nigeria a great country, and we will, by the grace of God.
For the Vice President to have taken that time to come and break it down for us within our midst, it became very easy for us to see why all our efforts are not in vain. Nigeria is moving. Every government apparatus that attended this hunger, we engage them on Global Renew Hope.
All we need is an inclusion, acceptance back home, because we have all the will, we have all the interest to go back home and give back at home.
Nigeria is the big brother to a lot of African countries. We are here to, build Sure Send as a remittance platform, not just to Nigeria, but also to Africa, to the world, Africans in Latin America, like the president is doing in Brazil and in Colombia. So there's an outreach for us in Nigeria to build a smarter SME platform to help bridge the gap within financial discrepancies.
As the Nigerian American community is the most upwardly mobile immigrant community in the United States.
Vice President Kashim Shettima commended the resilience and belief of Nigerians in the current government, noting their capacity to add value to the country's transformation efforts.
Are making progress. I always cite the case of a company, an oil palm company. It's called Presco. 2 years ago, Presco's share was going for 345, 400 naira. In the last 2 years, Presco's share grew by 247%. Dr. Ali Garba, go and buy Presco shares. For the first quarter of this year, Presco posted a profit of 58 billion naira. And this is just a microcosm of the larger Nigerian economy. So opportunities about. It might interest you to know, ladies and gentlemen, our foreign reserves is now hovering in the neighborhood of $42 billion. We have crossed the Rubicon, and we are on a path to sustain growth and stability.
When they all come together, we had a fantastic event this year. We also have the data mapping portal. And there are programs for you, for example, the diaspora mortgage, where you can get 50 million naira mortgage to own your own homes. And we've created a portal where you don't need to be duped to own your own home. So many things for the diaspora under this administration.
He urged the Nigerian community, not just in the United States, but across the world, to be proud of their heritage, noting that the nation's positive development indices in all spheres of the Nigerian is a reflection of well-thought-out policies of the Tinubu administration. From New York, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
And back home, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria today began a nationwide strike, affecting operations in key oil and gas agencies, including NNPCL, the Upstream Commission, and the Midstream and Downstream Authority. The action, directed by Pengason's National Executive Council, follows the alleged dismissal of Dangote refinery workers for joining the union. While some petrol stations remain open, members across the country have withdrawn their services from major regulatory institutions. Tony Eziogba, chairman of NMDPRA Pengason, told our correspondent Lydia Sampson in a telephone interview that members are awaiting the outcome of talks between the union's leadership and the federal government before deciding on the way forward. The National Association of Resident Doctors wants the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare to develop and implement clear, healthy call-duty working hours for medical doctors in line with international best practices. The president of the association, Dr. Mohammed Suleiman, made the plea while the association's 45th AGM and scientific conference held in Katsina. Suleiman reports.
The week-long annual event, which provided the association the opportunity to brainstorm on some challenges hindering effective service delivery in the health sector, with a view to charting a way forward as well as conducting an election that produced new executives, was attended by the governor of Katsina State.
The importance of the medical profession is so much that every society needs it. And so it is important for you to also put patriotism ahead of remuneration.
Presenting the communique, National President of the Association, Dr. Mohammed Suleiman, announces the AGM's directive barring members from engaging in more than 24 hours of continuous call duty. The association urges the federal government to facilitate seamless and sustained employment of doctors to address the alarming rate of brain drain and promote adequate healthcare delivery across the board.
We cannot continue to have doctors who choose to leave this country, and there are those who are here ready to serve, not having access to employment, rather being casualized, rather being given locum employment that they have to review in 2-3 months or 6 months' time.
It further called on all states' governors to prioritize the welfare of doctors and other healthcare workers in their state-owned hospitals and training institutions as a strategy for industrial harmony. In Katsina, Suleiman Kudu.
So earlier we just told you about the Pengassan nationwide strike. So we join our correspondent now, Joseph Otsen, Labour correspondent. He's at a venue where the meeting is being held by leadership and the government. Otsen, I'm sure you can hear me. What's the latest you can fill us in right now?
Yes, Ruth, the meeting between the representatives of the federal government, Dangote Group, and the oil and gas workers commenced just like a minute ago. They arrived here not long ago, and then they proceeded straight to the minister's conference hall. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Mohammed Megari Dingyadi, gave the opening speech where he encouraged everybody to be considerate. Actually, here the Minister of Finance is also here as part of the government, federal government representatives, representatives from the NNPC, the Dangote Group, Pengassan, and so on. They are all here. So it's expected that they will have a kind of a robust engagement where at least a lasting solution will come to this this issue between Dangote Refinery and its workers. You know, they had earlier had a meeting, the representative of Dangote and the federal government, and then the Pengassan and the NUPEN, where they agreed. It's all about the issue of unionization. And Dangote then agreed that the workers can go ahead and form their unions, where they will have also make rules and regulations as stipulated by the International Labour Organization conventions. And but shortly after that meeting, disagreements also came in terms of how the unions operate. Dangote have issued a statement where he said that the workers collect about 50,000 naira per truck for a truck, and he's not happy about that. In the last meeting where Pengassan and NUPEN had, we threw that question to the national president of NUPENG, that is it true that they are collecting 50,000 per truck? But he said no, he denied it, and at the same time he said he doesn't want to speak too much about it because Dangote had earlier gone to the court to seek to demand that the workers should never picket the money or stop at operations.
Okay, Joseph, I'm sure we wouldn't want to preempt the outcome of that meeting, but I'm sure we're hoping for positive development to, be the outcome of the meeting. And I'm also sure you'll give us development as they unfold as soon as the meeting ends. Thank you very much for your time, Joseph. All right, our correspondents there from where the meeting is being held. But let's delve to other issues that are also crucial. There is a rising global concern about how tons of food are wasted daily, while millions of people go to bed hungry. Most of the wasted food occur during harvests and leftovers from meals. This informed the rationale behind this, setting aside September 29th each year by the United Nations to raise awareness about food management and preservation. Musa Baba Aliyu will tell us more.
This is common in almost every eatery and restaurants where people order food they cannot finish. The leftovers are thrown into the garbage.
People fetch food because they feel very hungry, that they cannot finish. Yeah. So at the end of the day, they end up not finishing it. And instead of them to keep it in the fridge and save it for later, they will just keep it anyhow they want to keep it, and at the end of the day to go to waste.
Records show that approximately 1.05 billion tons of food are wasted annually around the world, which is enough to feed millions of hungry people. Apart from food, tons of agricultural produce, including fruits like oranges, watermelons, tomatoes, and mangoes, end up in a refuse dumps like this one. For example, this truck transported over 500 bags of oranges from Benue State to Zuba in Abuja, covering a distance of 280 kilometers. Upon uploading, 70% of the oranges were found to be spoiled or rotting. What you see here are scavengers carefully selecting the oranges they believe are still edible. Abubakar and Umar shared that just last week, over 250 bags of fruits were lost in the market due to spoilage.
Every year, Nigeria loses an estimated $10 billion in post-harvest losses due to poor storage, weak infrastructure, and limited processing. Beyond this, farmers confront the growing threats of climate change, droughts, floods, soil degradation, regular pest infestation, and erratic rainfall.
Agricultural experts believe that reducing food waste decreases costs and builds more resilient food systems. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
All right, we want to speak further on ways to manage, or rather wastage. We have a guest in the studio, Engineer Joseph Sunday Bamidele. He's an expert in food storage technology and also the General Secretary, Maize Association of Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us, Engineer Bamidele.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so it's a very important day, especially when we have to, play caution on the need not to waste food. But how can it be managed, especially for, farmers who don't have the know-how or, on how to store their foods?
Once again, thank you for having me. There's what is called food losses and food wastage. So the losses and the wastage is a chain from the production to the end users. For the local farmers, like in the association, Maize Association of Nigeria, now the wastage starts from the farm. Did you plant early? Did you plant the smart variety of seed? All this. And besides that, during harvest, which is where we have the highest loss of these farm produce. And for food wastage, I told you there's a difference between food losses and food wastage. The food wastage starts from the restaurant and from homes. Because in the homes, with most of our parents, the smallholder farmers, don't have electricity to even purchase the gadget that can be used to store these leftover food. And what causes most of this is you cook more than what you can eat. However, our parents in those days have their own local technology of preventing food wastage. So probably when we go on in the course of this discussion...
You may want to share that, Engineer Bamidele. We don't have so much time. And I want you to marry, the old ways of doing it and the innovative way, because you're a storage tech expert. So marry that for us quickly.
Now, for the grains, I remember there's a unit in the Federal Ministry of Agric. The present Permanent Secretary, Dr. Ogumbi, we were all together in crop storage unit. We have this 1 metric tons storage facilities that you can put in your homes. And the Federal Ministry of Agric in those days, to prevent food losses, there was this, what is called buyer of last resort, where farmers, whatever they produce in excess, the federal government mop this thing up, buy at the prevailing market price or at set prices before the harvest through the guaranteed minimum price. And in that aspect, in the olden days, our parents, when they harvest particularly maize, they can tie it, put in yard smoke, and they can leave this thing till the next season. The modern one, just like 1 ton metal bin, you can put it inside your bedroom, besides even in your parlor, what the Hausa call even your zaure, where the Hausa call zaure, where you can, the local sitting room where our fathers use. So this, we tried it. The present PAMSEC, Dr. Gumbi, probably if he's listening, we did this in strategic food reserve. And with this, farmers were able to save their leftover grains. However, for the food wastage, what they've been doing, particularly perishable ones, like the tomatoes, there is this we put in the local pot. You put them, you put the matter in the pot and put seedbed sand in between them, and that can last you for the next planting season.
There's a lot of innovative methods, I'm sure, Engineer Bamidele, that people can learn, especially farmers. And then for the homes given to the less privileged, it's just one way to avoid this wastage, right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Engineer Joseph Sunday Bamidele, for your time on Nationwide. We do appreciate.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. And talking about foods, now this one, the National Biotechnology and Development Agency has reaffirmed the safety of genetically modified organisms. You know them as GMOs, and their importance in tackling Nigeria's food security challenges. The Director General, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa, said concerns about GMO foods are often driven by misinformation and fear, stressing that the agency is intensifying public engagement and evidence-based advocacy to build confidence. He said they are globally recognized as safe, having undergone decades of research and strict regulation. And in Nigeria, no GMO product is approved for circulation without clearance from the National Biosafety Management Agency after thorough risk assessment. And sadly, flooding has once again hit Ibaji, local government area of Kogi State, destroying homes and submerging farmlands. Known for its recurring flood disasters, Ibaji is also facing rising water levels that threatens to worsen situation in the days ahead. Jonathan Omajali will tell us more.
We were young. The flood was not coming as like this.
Once again, the season of rising waters has returned, casting fear over riverine communities in Kogi State. In Ibaji local government area, the threat is no longer looming. It has arrived. Emmanuel Uge, chairman of Ibaji local government area, confirms that at least 5 communities, including Ota, Odogu, and Uyedega, are among the hardest hit.
When you look at Ibaji geographically, especially those who are living by the river Rhine, the type of embankment that will take place is more than asking government to construct a road for us.
They are sovereign. We cannot quantify the extent of they are sovereign. Yes, the damage that has occurred in those areas.
For now, the state emergency management agencies urging residents in flood-prone zones to move to safer ground to avert greater tragedy. Ibaji is one of the local government areas critical to Nigeria's agricultural output, and now is the time for swift and decisive intervention. Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
All right, let's join Jonathan now from Lokoja. Jonathan, your report just stated swift and, decisive intervention. So I'm sure you want to tell us what has been done at the moment because of the situation on ground. Jonathan?
Yes. Of course, just like you heard in that report, is a situation that calls for urgent attention. Just to let you know, Ibaji is like the food basket of Kogi State. It's a major rice and yam production hub. And so what we are experiencing in Ibaji right now, in terms of flooding, is one that is likely to have a telling blow on the state in terms of food security. Talking about what the state government and relevant agencies are doing. Yesterday I spoke with the executive secretary of SEMA, and he said that tomorrow over 300,000 worth of relief items will be brought into the state for distribution. That should start from Wednesday, between Wednesday to Thursday. This time we are not looking at only Ibaji, we are looking at 8 other local government areas that are prone to flooding in Kogi State. Of course, 42 IDP camps have also been set up. Recently, the Commissioner for Health was talking about that, and he said that personnel have been sent to those places for fumigation and also to ensure that there is no outbreak of waterborne disease when the flood victims come. For now, the message is very simple. Those that are at riverine areas and flood-prone zones should move. That has been the message from SEMA, the state government, and of course relevant agencies. And we hope that they will give heed to that.
Just going to ask you if they're actually complying, talking about, residents of these communities, if they're actually moving to safer place. But thank you, Jonathan. I'm sure the needful will be done. Thank you. So we move to another issue of concern. Assessment by the Farming Input Support Services Department of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security uncovered cases of contaminated fertilizers containing up to 90% sand flooding markets in Bauchi State. The inspection team was on a certification visit, and Abdullah Aminu will fill us in on that.
This visit by the team from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Department of Farm Input Support Services to Bauchi State is initially certifying fertilizer processing plant and quality of production processes. The agricultural inspection team, however, unveiled some shady practices, including various fake fertilizers which are containing up to 90% of sand, trademark infringement, and the sale of unregistered fertilizers in local markets.
We have to engage them officially, and we have invited our state inspector of fertilizer inspector based in Bauchi, to now call them and have a meeting. And this is one case of infringement on their trademark. And virtually this one is fake. So we now decided that we are going to subject these samples that we took to laboratory analysis.
The team leader also cautioned farmers about the risks involved that might affect the government's goal of achieving a bumper harvest, with a promise that a strategic approach will be put in place to address the issues after a thorough investigation. Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu congratulates Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, the Minister of Defense, on his birthday. In a statement through his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the president joins the Badaru family, friends and well-wishers to celebrate the consummate administrator on this occasion. Commending the minister's dedication to service, the president prays that God Almighty will grant the former governor more years of good health and strength. And we have messages of hope, unity and patriotism were re-echoed as the enduring principles that Nigerians should continue to imbibe as the President Tinubu administration is repositioning the country for a greater future. At a World Press Conference as part of activities to mark Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary, Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris gave account of the federal government's stewardship within the last 28 months. We'll bring you the details in the course of the bulletin. But we head to Lagos now, where we join Adiola. She will pick up from there. Hello, Adiola. Where we join Adiola.
Thank you, Ruth, for joining us in Lagos. Rabies is a public health issue which the World Health Organization, WHO, targets to eradicate by 2030. There are global efforts to interrupt transmission from dogs to humans, as this is the most common route for human infection. How many Nigerians realize how deadly rabies is and the crucial steps that can save victims? Hingino John Adams has more on this.
A dog is regarded as man's best friend because of their loyalty and loving nature. Dogs play crucial life-saving roles to humans and are recommended as assistants to people with special needs and even the elderly. On the flip side, though, dogs have sent and are still sending many to early graves in Nigeria with rabies.
I know someone that lost life because of rabies. They take it casually. I think he was trying to hide it from his parents, and at the point they got to know, he was already barking like a dog.
The person starts to mimic the dog sounds, like the whoa dog sound, and it's very scary, and at the end of the day the person gets to die.
Interestingly, dogs are not the only reservoirs of rabies, though they are the major sources of the virus in this part of the world. All warm-blooded mammals like cats, bats, and even human beings are potential carriers of rabies. Nigeria is among countries that bear significant burden of rabies globally, with the World Health Organization estimating around 10,000 human deaths annually. However, true figures may be higher due to underreporting and fragmented data.
It affects the nervous tissue of vulnerable animals and men, and when it happens, it's usually always fatal.
Rabies can be prevented by ensuring that the animals that are close to us, physically our dogs, our cats, the warm-blooded animals, are vaccinated as and when due by a qualified professional.
With 2030 gradually approaching, Nigeria's fight against rabies is intensifying as the federal government has declared war against the virus, a move experts commend. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Now let's talk about my gender. Women. They often play crucial roles in navigating complex challenges in any nation and in championing the transformation of sectors of the economy. The 7th Women in Governance Conference is a vital platform to increase the influence of women and accelerate their representation across all sectors of governance. Emel Doris' report is here presented.
In an era where women are not just participants, but active architects of change, leading with a more diverse and dynamic leadership paradigm, not only make them well equipped to lead.
Our belief here is that this can only be accelerated when all hands are on the deck.
All women should be bold to be in the boardroom, to sit on board and make and take decisions.
wife of the Lagos State Governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, represented, challenged women to be intentional in changing the narrative and initiate programs that support women's growth.
It is so important that gatherings like this do not end with conversations alone, but translate into concrete actions that would dismantle barriers and open doors for women at every level of society.
Zonal Director of NTA Lagos Network Center, Evelyn Nwosu, highlighted the need for women to.
When you see your challenges as a barrier, that's when you don't break boundaries. But if you see that as a stepping stone, you climb to it and you come out. So for every woman, there's no stopping you.
To provide more women equal seats in governance, speakers at the program share practical experiences on how to navigate challenges that limit women, providing preparatory notes for younger women to rise and be part of a collective voice, demanding equal representation at different relevant positions.
Don't look at it as if you are striving with anyone. What we are trying to do is to make yourself be fulfilled in life.
But I find that so many young women also self-handicapped. They see challenges that are not even there.
Promoting the significance of good governance, success of public and private sectors through learning, collaboration and advocacy is the vision of the Association of Corporate Governance Professionals of Nigeria.
And those are the reports from Lagos for now. Nationwide will continue with a smile in a Sokoto Network Center after this break.
It is with great joy and a deep sense of honor that I, Senator Hope Uzodinma CON, Governor of Imo State, on behalf of the government and the good people of our dear state, warmly welcome the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, on an official visit to Imo State alongside the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Professor Ntawe Yuata, the Senate President, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, Governors of the All Progressives Congress APC, and other leaders of our great party, the APC, on Tuesday, 30th September 2025. During these historic visits, Mr. President will commission a number of transformative projects that eloquently demonstrate our shared commitment to progress. These include the fully rebuilt Owerri-Mbise-Obowo-Umuahia Road, 2. A brand new flyover connecting Port Harcourt and Onitsha roads with major upgrades around the Assumpta Cathedral roundabout, Owerri. 3. The ultra-modern Emmanuel Nwayamo International Conference Center and other signature projects. In addition, President Tinubu will, as Chief Guest of Honor, unveil the latest book, A Decade of Impactful Progressive Governance in Nigeria, a reflection on our journey as a party and as a nation committed to the ideals of good governance and sustainable development. I look forward to receiving Mr. President, other eminent Nigerians, and friends of Imo State on these momentous occasion. Come and witness history. Join us as we celebrate service and progress. Signed, Senator Hope Uzodinma CON, Governor, Imo State.
TerraQ, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
Good, tasty food is worth living for. Worried about your oil every time you enjoy your favorite meal? Introducing Smart Balance. Smart Balance rice bran oil is rich in gamma-oryzanol. Several studies suggest that gamma-oryzanol may contribute to the reduction of bad cholesterol. Golden Terra Smart Balance oil. Good food, no worries.
The chairman, Professor Nentawe Iwata, and members of the National Working Committee, NWC, of the All Progressives Congress, APC, warmly join hands with all party members across Nigeria to welcome our resourceful, promise-keeping and revolutionary president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, to Owerri, Imo State, for the unveiling of the book, A Decade of Impactful Progressive Governance in Nigeria, written by Governor Hope Uzodinma. NWC is proud to present this landmark publication to all Nigerians as a record of the achievements of the APC-led federal government over the past 10 years. Significantly, this is the first time any political party in Nigeria is boldly documenting its performance in government, its achievements, challenges and lessons for the public to assess its full view. This book underscores the strength and character of the APC, anchored firmly on the values of accountability, transparency and progressive governance. As the #1 APC man and the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, visits Imo to unveil this historic and historicizing publication, we are proud to proclaim the APC as Nigeria's leading party. We also heartily welcome our current and former governors, members of the National Assembly, state working committees and friends of the party to this grand occasion. Signed, National Publicity Secretary.
Welcome to Nationwide from Sokoto. Peace, according to stakeholders, is not merely the absence of conflict, but active presence of justice, equity, tolerance, and collaboration. This message resonated in Sokoto as peace advocates from the Kuka Center, Community Dialogue, Community and Global Rights come together to commemorate 2025 International Day of Peace. Dalhatu Abdullahi has more.
The world marked the International Day of Peace 2025 with the theme Act Now for a Peaceful World. It is a global call to reject violence, hate and discrimination while promoting respect, equality and diversity. Peace advocates in Sokoto State called for stronger peace building through dialogue, early warning systems and inclusive approaches.
Gagi district is a community that gathers different social religious custom background. We enjoy living together. We enjoy symbiotic relationship between us. We enjoy tolerance.
Go deeper to find out, are there some people that really felt they have been treated unjustly? Because even when people are treated unjustly, they could just be forcibly made to keep quiet.
The farming communities should have their sources of livelihood restored to them. So wherever there is displacement from livelihood, conflicts are bound to occur.
The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, represented by the Ardan Shuni Muhammad, commended the organizers and reaffirmed the Sultanate Council's commitment to lasting peace. There were goodwill messages from representatives of the National Orientation Agency, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the Department of State Service, pledging to partner in sustaining peace across the state. Sultan of Sokoto Muhammad Saad Abubakar was honored as Grand Commander of Peace, while Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Hassan Kuka of the Sokoto Diocese received recognition for service to humanity among other dignitaries. The event featured a farmer had a round table, a symbolic peace walk, and colorful cultural displays. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The evolving patterns of substance abuse among young people, particularly girls, have prompted the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency to intensify its operations in areas of its jurisdiction. Abdullahi Umar Ilelu reports that in Sokoto, Kebbi and Zamfara zonal commands, 101 convictions have been secured, while 120 cases remain pending. The report.
The National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, established in 1989, was mandated to combat substance abuse and other illicit drugs. In line with this mandate, government and relevant stakeholders are working around the clock to ensure that the prevalence of narcotic substances is controlled and reduced to the barest minimum.
We are going to do our best to make sure that the drug activity is considerably done.
We have the total number of 3,316 points
8, 6, 7 kg of various exhibits. So you can imagine this drug exhibit if we are being melted inside those states.
Experts warn that going by empirical evidence, youth involvement in substance abuse is on the rise daily. Hence the need for all hands to be on deck in addressing the anomaly. They identified several drivers of drug abuse, including attempts to escape pain and trauma, the search for pleasure, peer pressure, and social influence, as well as coping with mental health challenges.
All the crises, restiveness we are facing in this country are drug-related. So if government and society join hands and fight it, actually we'll have a better society.
There should be a synergy between NDLEA and other security agencies. Religious leaders should be involved. They should continue their good work, preaching in the mosque, by imams and pastors in churches.
They reminded parents to pay closer attention to their children's activities and associations, stressing that early vigilance remains a key step in preventing substance abuse. In Sokoto, Abdullah Omar Ilalu, NTA News.
And that is our contribution from Sokoto. Is back to Ruth in Abuja for the continuation of the news.
Thank you very much, Asmau. Nigeria's spirit will continue high and unbroken as a nation after 6 decades and counting. Nigeria's resilience was the focus by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, at the World Press Conference commemorating Nigeria's 65th anniversary celebration. Shehu Mohammed Detti report.
Speeches, the World Press Conference is a forum that provides Nigerians and stakeholders an opportunity to come together and celebrate the nation's independence, reflecting on the theme of the 65th anniversary, calling for all hands on deck to consolidate on the nation's progress.
The renewed hope agenda has become the guiding framework for transforming Nigeria. It is an agenda that speaks to national rebirth, inclusivity, and sustainable progress, thereby providing hope for our people, especially the youth, who represent the future of this nation.
The briefing captured key issues shaping Nigeria's development, including economy, security, and social justice.
We are all aware of the economic reforms initiated by this administration. They are bold and imaginative, but sometimes difficult, but necessary steps aimed at stabilizing our economy, restoring investor confidence, and laying a foundation for long-term growth.
At 65, Nigeria is more than a number. Today's World Press Conference and earlier activities have set the tune for October 1st, 2025 anniversary. In Abuja, I'm Shehu Mohammed Detti, NTA.
The Federal High Court, Abuja Division, has declared illegal, unlawful and unconstitutional the plan by former presidential candidate Pat Utomi to establish shadow government in Nigeria. The presiding judge, Justice James Omotosho, gave the order while delivering verdict on a suit filed by the Department of State Services against Pat Utomi. Justice Omotosho restrained Professor Pat Utomi and his associates from proceeding with their plan to establish a shadow government or cabinet in the country. Justice Omotosho declared the concept of shadow government or that of any cabinet as unconstitutional and an alien concept to the nation's presidential system of government. The court held that Professor Utomi and his associates cannot hide under the rights of association and to criticize the government to engage in unlawful activities. Let's talk other business. Is maintaining a healthy heart about the emotional patterns we live by? Yes, I'm asking. Or managing stress amidst our bustling lives? Or is it more about the food we eat, like balancing traditional dishes with modern nutritional wisdom? Against the backdrop of the 2025 World Heart Day, which is today, we had a consultant cardiologist earlier who gives us some tips on ways of maintaining a healthy heart condition. Let's take a listen.
this type of cardiovascular disease that happen with age are lifestyle related, then what do we do to prevent them? To a large extent, we know that if we exercise regularly, if we don't add weight, if we cut down our weight, if we don't smoke, if we don't drink, for those that drink, they drink moderately. If you cut down your salt intake, if you don't consume too much fatty food, if you have adequate sleep, all these things will in some way modify the chances of developing this cardiovascular disease. And we know that if you do that, the chances of, for instance, having high blood pressure will be reduced. And if you have it at all, if anyone has it and you do all these things with your medications, for instance, the chances of having a good control is very high.
Put the heart in check all the time by doing the needful. We head to Maiduguri now. We join Wadiam. She's standing by to fill us in the next reports that we'll be having. Hello, Wadiam.
And welcome to Maiduguri. As Borno continues its journey to recovery, efforts are being made to rebuild not just communities, but also livelihoods. The Vilita Foundation, in partnership with the Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development, distributed startup kits to 236 youths who recently completed a special residential vocational training program. The distribution was officially flagged off by Governor Babagana Umar Zulum at the Government House, Maiduguri. Muhammad Goni reports.
What she did to me is something that I can never forget because it impacts me in so many ways. I have learned so many things in catering department.
These are some of the 236 beneficiaries of the training program, expressing appreciation to the Bilita Bashir Foundation for the empowerment and to Governor Zulum for the 100,000 naira cash support provided through the Borno State Social Investment Agency. The trainees receive hands-on skills in carpentry, tailoring, catering, ICT, solar installation and more. With their starter packs in hand, they are now set to begin their own businesses. Governor Zulum, while presenting the items, applauded the Bilita Foundation and Mariam Babangida Center for the initiative, assuring that government will continue to stand behind such programs that empower people and restore dignity.
This training has given you the foundation to start the work. But I'm calling upon the foundation and other what people of the State to look into the possibility of advancing their training.
For Dr. Asabe Bilita Bashir, Director General of the Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development and the CEO of Bilita Foundation, the project goes beyond training, as she explained that it is about giving young people, especially those affected by conflict, the tools and confidence to live independently, contribute to society, and build sustainable peace.
The government alone cannot do it. After all, we are all heading agencies at our different levels, so we can bring all our experiences to bear on our citizens.
Development partners, including Simba and the Office of the Sustainable Development Goals, pledge continued collaboration to strengthen empowerment initiatives across the country, assuring more young people can benefit from opportunities like this.
In a bid to shield civil servants and their families from the burden of out-of-pocket healthcare expenses, the Borno State government, through the State Contributory Health Care Management Agency, BOCHMA, has launched the Formal Sector Health Insurance Scheme. To drive awareness on its operational guidelines, a 5-day sensitization workshop was organized in Maiduguri. Pauline Kujevana reports.
The Contributory Health Scheme is designed to guarantee affordable health care for civil servants and their families, strengthen the state health system through pooled financing, and align Borno with national and global health commitments, particularly SDG 3, towards ensuring healthy lives and well-being for all. Under its structure, employees will contribute 3.5% of their basic salary, while the state government adds 6.5%, making a total of 10%. The workshop serves as a platform to educate civil servants on the benefits, processes, and implementation of the Formal Sector Health Insurance Scheme, in line with the drive towards achieving universal health coverage, UHC. Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Professor Baba Malam Gana, who commended Governor Babagana Umar Zulum for approving the scheme, highlighted key achievements in the health sector to include rehabilitation of over 300 health facilities, free maternal drugs worth 800 million naira, establishment of general hospitals across the state, and the new completion of the Borno State University Teaching Hospital.
This is what you see in advanced countries where healthcare is free from beginning at birth to death, and in between giving the best services. So we're very grateful that this has now reached us in Borno State.
Facilitators at the workshop highlighted the benefit of the scheme, which will ensure accessible and affordable healthcare services, and appreciated Governor Zulum's remarkable stride in the health sector. The interactive session allowed participants to seek clarifications and contribute ideas for effective implementation. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Maiduguri. It's now time for our second break, and Nationwide will continue with food in Abuja.
Chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum and Imo State Governor, His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodinma CON, is presenting his latest book titled A Decade of Impactful Progressive Governance in Nigeria. Date Tuesday, September 30, 2025. Venue Emmanuel Uwayamu Conference Center, Owerri, Imo State. Time 12 noon. Chief guest of honor, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Chairman of the occasion, Professor Nentawe Uwata, National Chairman, All Progressives Congress. Special guests of honor, Their Excellencies, Governors of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Book presenter, Al-Aji Rabiu Isyaku Rabiu, Chairman, IRS Group of Companies. Royal Fathers of the Day, His Eminence Al-Aji Sahad Abubakar III, CFR Sultan of Sokoto. Igwe Nemeka Alfred Achebe, CFR MNI, Obi of Onitsha. His Imperial Majesty Obadiye Enita Guzi or Jaja II, CFR Oni of Ife. The Oba of Benin is Royal Majesty Omonobanedo Eko Opolopolo Obaeware II. His Eminence Ediden Ekpo Okun Abasio V, Bong of Calabar. His Royal Majesty Alhaji Yaya Abubakar CFR Etsu Nape. His Royal Majesty Eze Dr. Isio KK CFR Eze Imo, Host, Royal Father, His Royal Majesty Eze Dr. E.C. Ilumwaya, CON, Co-Chairman, Southern Traditional Rulers Council. Book Reviewer, Professor Bennett Chima Wanguma, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Come and witness the unveiling of the landmark achievement of the All Progressive Congress APC in 10 years of federal government. Signed, Cosmas Iwu, Secretary to the Imo State Government and Chairman, Local Organizing Committee.
No buy am! But why? No see say this big bull bag of rice no get the new big bull holographic seal. Not true.
Introducing the Big Bull Holographic Seal Tape, your favorite authentic Big Bull rice, 50 kg and 25 kg. Now with holographic seal tape. This is to ensure you get the premium product from Big Bull rice. Do not buy if the holographic seal tape is not on the bag or is broken. Big Bull rice, tasty rice nourished you.
The world needs moms. With a splash of Golden Terra Oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Change no thanks into yes please. Resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty family meals is all that matters. Where there are moms, there is love. Golden Terra Oil, pour pure love.
Guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
Guys, food is ready.
Suitable for jollof rice, stew, spaghetti, and yam portage. Cooked to impress.
When malaria knocks you down,
you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on. Malaria gone.
The journey of independence and transverse of nation building. Appraisal and projections of Nigeria at 65. The conversation comes up on NTA Tuesday Live, September 30th, 2025. Nigeria's success stories and boundless hopes for our great nation. NTA Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. NTA Tuesday Live, educative and incisive as ever. Join us.
Thank you for staying tuned. Former Deputy Inspector General of Police Pari Osayende has passed away just hours to his 89th birthday. This news comes barely a month after the demise of former Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase. Ifoma Okafo reports.
This is the GRA residence of the former DIG Pari Osayende that just passed on. And just like expected, the whole environment is empowered by sense of grief. But it's a rainy day in Benin City, and despite the rain, sympathizers have continued to commiserate with the family of Osayende, and the condolence register is already opened, and the sympathizers are coming in to register their presence.
One of the greatest core member of this land is gone. A super core. If you talk of Pari Osayende, he is known all over the place. We have lost a great man.
He was a disciplinarian quite well, and a man of hard work.
When my brother started to call me this morning to say that Daddy had passed, it's heavy to bear. But I know that Daddy is in a better place now, and I wish that the family will have the recourse to bear this irrevocable loss.
One description: a good man, true and true.
DIG Pari Osayende retired, the Benin prince, who will be remembered for arresting the notorious armed robber Lawrence Anini, who terrorized Benin City and environs in the early 80s. In Benin, Ifoma Okafo, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for your time. I'm Ruth Aguela. Thank you.